Welcome to the Hello Hacker YouTube channel. My name is Adam. I run another channel called Credible Dev where I talk about Linux stuff and all sorts of things related to that. But this channel is about my first indie game that I've made using the Rust language that is on Steam today. So if you're interested in the game that I'm about to show you, I'll have a link down in the description to the Steam store page so you can take a further look at it and hopefully consider buying it. I'd really appreciate your support if this is the kind of game that you're into. Today, we're going to go over the game, Hello Hacker, what it is, what it isn't, what the experience is like, just a brief introduction without giving too much away. But this can serve as a demo to the game. So if you were thinking about buying the game, this might give you an idea on whether it's right for you or not. First of all, who is Hello Hacker targeted at? Really, it's targeted at anybody, but it lends itself more to the cybersecurity type of person or somebody who uses Linux, familiar with the command line, has just an interest in hacking or something like that. But you don't necessarily have to because the game has a tutorial built into the beginning of it. It has a nice hint system, so if you get stuck, it'll help you out. So really anybody can play this game, but it's targeted at people who like hacking, cybersecurity, stuff like that. When you first load up the game, you're going to be greeted with a welcome screen that tells you a little bit about the game, how the scoring works, that there's an auto save system, and a few tips to get you started. So here on the screen, we're telling you that Hello Hacker is a terminal-based hacking game that's going to challenge your technical knowledge, your problem-solving skills, and your curiosity. So you're going to need to pay attention to a lot of the stuff you read in the game. You'll be navigating through various file systems. You'll want to read the files that are there on the system. Most of them are going to have clues. Some of them are kind of like red herrings and don't really lead to anything, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. But you are going to need to pay close attention. There is a notepad within the game that will store your notes. So if you close the game and you come back to it later, those notes will still be there. I highly encourage you to use that notepad to write down anything that you think might be important and possibly where you found it at. So in the game, like I said, you're going to navigate multiple different kinds of file systems. There's going to be hidden files. You're going to have to crack passwords. You might have to decrypt some data. You might have to find a vulnerability that allows you to do privilege escalation. There's intrusion detection systems, so you're going to want to avoid those in order to get a better time and a better score. Because at the end of the game, you would end up submitting your score if you choose to the global leaderboard. On that leaderboard, you're going to be ranked based off of your score, how many hints that you used, and the time that it took you to complete the game. So you want to keep that in mind as you play through the game. So as far as tips go, you have some hints available. We'll go ahead and get into the game so I can show you some of that. So we'll go ahead and hit let's go. Here on this first screen, we're going to give a code name. This is kind of an introduction to the story, but here you'll just choose a name. We'll just say Agent 2. Now we're ready to get rolling. So it drops us immediately into a Linux style terminal. Over here, we have a tutorial that's kind of giving us some things to do. So first it's telling us to run ls, which lists the files and directories in the current directory we're in. So we can see here, we got a few folders. These blue colored ones are folders. This white one is a file. So now it wants us to read the file. We're going to use the cat command to do that. And that's going to output the contents of the file onto the console here. So we'll type cat. Now here, I'm just going to type RE and then I'm going to hit tab. There is some tab completion built into the game. It's a little difficult, so it can be a little wonky sometimes, but for the most part, it works. Go ahead and hit enter. And now we can see the contents of that file. Next, it wants us to change into a different directory. So we're going to use the CD command to do that. We have a documents directory and a downloads directory we can see up here. We're going to go into the documents. So we'll type DOC and hit tab and that'll finish it for us. Hit enter. Now we're in the documents directory. If we hit LS, we can see we have a different set of files and folders here because we changed directories. Now it's telling us we can type help to see a list of all the available commands. Go ahead and type help. And we can see here that there's quite a few different commands with somewhat of a description. Some of these commands you can just type without anything. So we type cat, it's going to tell us the usage to use cat plus a file, right? Or if we were to type hex, it's going to give us some examples of how we could use the hex command, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're playing through the game. Here, it's telling us the tutorial is complete, and it says check the hint command if you get stuck. So here in our help output, we can see there's this hint command. And how this works is if you want one hint, you'll just type, or if you want the first level hint. So you just type hint by itself, and that gives you the first level hint. That's just going to be a little bit of a nudge. It's not going to give you too much. If you need more of a hint, you have to do these in order. So you're going to have to do the first hint, then the second, third, and then the full kind of explanation of what you need to do. Each one's going to cost you more, as it shows here, 10, 25, 50, and 100 points. So again, if we want the second hint, we would have had to first run the first hint. Now we're just going to add a space and a 2, and that's going to give us the second level hint. All right. We're not going to do that right now because I don't want to spoil anything. So we'll hit close here, and that's going to give us 100 bonus points. So we can see up here kind of where we are with points. We got 2 points for reading that file basically, and then we got 100 bonus points for actually doing the tutorial. So make sure you do the tutorial so you get started out with some points that you could use towards hints if you needed to. You do get your first 3 hints for free, as we see here. And then we have a reminder about the notepad. So if we hit Control and N, it brings up the notepad. And you don't really have to click this save button. It'll save it automatically. You don't really have to click this close button either. You can just hit Control N again and it'll go away. Hit Control N again and it comes back. That's where you're going to keep your notes. So throughout this game, you're going to navigate through various different machines, learning about the story as you go through it. Like, I don't want to spoil too much of the story. I'll let you discover the story on your own, but to kind of give you overview, there is a secret government program called Project Nightfall. Your friend has went missing. You're kind of filling in his shoes, following in his tracks. You're a hacker, so to speak, and you're going to be uncovering this secret. Is essentially what's happening throughout the game. You'll be learning more and more about that government program as you proceed through the game. So again, if this game interests you, if you like this style of game, be sure to hit the like button on this video. And as far as this channel goes, there may be some game content that I'll post here related to Hello Hacker or a future version of this because I do have plans for a more advanced version of Hello Hacker. I plan on posting a few videos like that and see how well that does. But for now, this is all I got for you. So be sure to head over to the Steam page if you're interested. Wish listed if you can't buy it today. If you can buy it today, great. I really do appreciate your support. This is just me creating this game on my own. Thank you very much, and everybody have a great weekend.